Hello and welcome to this message for our youth group. This is our message for Sunday, November 8th of the year 2020. We are the Hispanic Presbyterian Church and I am Maria Santa, the lay pastor. This has been the first week in the month of November. We're wrapping it up. And what a week it has been. I am sure you are all aware of what has happened in the United States this week. There was an election. People came out to vote. Votes are being counted, and a process is being followed. It's a very important process, like many of the processes that we live through in life. Every process brings change. Every process brings uncertainty. And sometimes we have to stand in the middle of uncertainty and feel uncomfortable because we don't know what comes next. That is part of life, not knowing what comes next. However, there's a different way to stand in that uncertainty. When you believe in a higher power, when you know that everything is part of a perfect order, you can stand in uncertainty knowing that things will get better. Sometimes for things to get better, everyone has to do their part. And this process that we have lived through this week as a country has shown us the importance of the individual. Every one of us carries a piece of the puzzle when it comes to solving a problem. Sometimes the piece of the puzzle that we carry is something that we can do, work that we can do from wherever we're at, things and organizations that we can join to make a difference. But sometimes the most important process is a silent one. And the process of voting is a silent process. It's an individual process. It is a process where you by yourself go into a room or into a place and you fill out a ballot, a paper, where you alone are free to make the choice that you feel is right. But in doing that, in making that choice individually and in silence, you are creating an impact that can be larger than yourself. So today I want you to think about that process that you have seen playing out this week in this country and the importance of everyone's voice. Sometimes our voice is silence. Sometimes it is important not to speak, not to express what you think or what you feel. We are taught to speak our minds, and that is important too. But sometimes sitting in silence, in uncertainty and uncomfortable makes us grow. This week, millions of people have voted. Millions of people did that individually and in silence, only with their conscience, with their beliefs, thinking about what they thought is better for themselves, their families, and their country. And many people went through that process with prayer. Anyone that's a believer prayed before casting their ballot, because it's a decision that even though you do it in silence and individually, could affect the greater good, could leave a mark out there in the world. It is important for you to think about that voice that you have. You are an individual that has within you the power to make things happen. God has given you the freedom to make your choices. But you have to be able to discern, to think, to see clearly when is it time for you to raise your voice and when is it time for you to remain silent. This week was a time to raise our voices, but we did it in a silent way. Sometimes we like to make noise, and sometimes people feel that the louder they fight and they speak when they're in the middle of an argument, the more they can get their point across. But I will tell you something that I learned a long time ago when I was a young girl, that an empty cart makes more noise than a cart that is full. When you're full of good things, you don't need to scream to be heard. You can make your point using the right words in a calm manner and knowing that what you're saying is true. It is important to base our arguments on truth, and I think we have all seen that. But today I invite you to think about that voice that you have. If you did not have an opportunity to vote this time, maybe you're not 18 years of age yet, or maybe you're not a citizen yet, but you will be, and the opportunity to vote and to make your voice heard will come. But you do not have to wait until you can cast a ballot to make your voice heard. Your voice is heard when you stand for what is right. Your voice is heard when you defend someone that's being bullied. Your voice is heard when you tell the truth when it's easier to say a lie. Your voice is heard when you can say, I believe in something greater than myself, when it's not popular. Your voice counts. And I will share with you a Bible verse from the Old Testament, from the book of Isaiah. From chapter 40, the verse 9 in Isaiah says, "Get yourself up on a high mountain, O Zion, bearer of good news. Lift up your voice mightily, O Jerusalem, bearer of good news. Lift it up. Do not fear. Here is your God." So never be afraid to lift up your voice, especially when you are the bearer of good news, especially when you are standing up for what is right, especially when you know that God is calling you to speak and not be silent. Today, value your voices, celebrate who you are, and be blessed by the Lord. God bless you all. Take care.